What's going on, Earth2 novice enthusiasts and everyone in between? Welcome to another episode of Earth2 News, where we discuss everything Earth2. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news, strategies, giveaways, and events, make sure you are subscribed and you've got those alert notifications on. You're also going to want to check out the links in the show notes so you can learn how to win money and land in my weekly giveaways, as well as subscribe to my newsletter so you can get exclusive information before it even makes it into an episode. And if you're new to Earth2, you're definitely going to want to check out my playlist that is dedicated to Earth2 noobs and has a bunch of different videos that will help you understand what's happened, what's going on, and what to do next so you can skip mistakes and fast track your success. You're also going to want to make sure you're watching this on Earth2 News. That is my channel that is dedicated to Earth2 content. I have exclusive content on there. That's where my episodes premiere first, and that is the only channel on which I go live so we can interact. Before we get started, I want to let you know that this is part of a series I made specifically for people who are new to Earth2, so you're able to get caught up. Or maybe you've been playing with Earth2 for a while, but you haven't been staying up to date with all of the recent announcements, or maybe you just want to hear my take on what I've seen and what I think is coming up. In any case, you're going to want to make sure you check out the rest of the playlist on my YouTube. I'm also going to have a podcast series. To find the playlist, there might be a link popping up in the corner, or you can check the show notes for a link, or just search my channel. Now that that's out of the way, let's jump into today's episode. Now, I've discussed phases in another video, so if you're not sure what phases are, if you want some speculation on what I think is coming and a lot of the explanation as to why things have been laid out in the sequence that they've been, I suggest you check out the phase 2 video. This video is going to specifically address classes and tiers, because I know there's a lot of people in the community who are coming in, they're a bit new to Earth2, and they're not sure the difference between phases, classes, and tiers. So I'm going to clear that up for you in today's episode. Now, if you're confused by classes, phases, and tiers, don't worry, you're far from alone. That's why I'm making the episode, just to clear this up, because I've seen the comments, I've seen the discussions, and I wanted to lay it all out in a concise manner so you can get all the information in one spot. Classes started in phase 1, and the purpose was to differentiate the land purchased in different countries and the order in which that land was purchased. So the first 100,000 tiles purchased in any given country will be class 1. The next 100,000 tiles purchased in that country will be class 2. The third 100,000 tiles purchased in that country will be class 3, and so on and so forth. Now, what do class 1, 2, 3, and etc., what does that all mean? What does that do? How does that affect me as a user / player? Well, the lower the land class, meaning 1 being the lowest, will actually mean it's the highest value. So think of class 1 like first class. Now, when I say value, I mean in its ability to produce resources, your take in marketing shares, your land income revenue, and probably jewel and ether production as well. Now, I get a little bit deeper discussing resources in other videos. Check out my video on phases and jewels and anything mentioning resources or hollow buildings, which I assume you've watched or going to watch. So I'll just touch briefly on marketing income and land income tax. Check out my videos talking about phases, jewels, resources, any of those kind of keywords if you want to find out more specific information. But right now, I'll touch briefly on marketing income and land income tax. Land income or land income tax, you'll see it abbreviated as LIT, and it is lit when you're receiving it. But it's basically a share of the revenue for that particular country that you've bought into when future people buy into that country. If you're familiar with stocks and shares, it's very much like a dividend or profit share. So if you buy into a country before me, let's say it's Guatemala, then I buy into Guatemala, you could be receiving a percentage of what I'm contributing by buying into that country. Now, this is obviously a small amount of what I'm buying in with, and this is spread out over a bunch of people who are already owners of that land in that country. So it's not going to be a significant chunk, but it is a nice little perk and some additional revenue that you can earn, and it's an added benefit of being earlier to purchase in that country. It also helps sustain the value of other investments that have been made and gives justification for people to spend more on class 1 tiles when you are able to buy them in the secondary market. Spoiler alert, There's really not any Class 1 tiles available for you to purchase directly from Earth2 because they've all been bought up, but you can purchase them in the secondary market. The better the land class or the lower the number, so again, 1 being the best, the more you are going to be getting from these dividend shares, this LIT revenue. So just by holding land in Earth2, you could be making passive income from it. Now, marketing isn't live yet, not really in any way to speak much of. They've got a beta version, but the income from marketing isn't live yet, at least not at the time of this recording. But it is going to be a major addition to the myriad of abilities for you to earn income in Earth2. Now, I do also discuss this in deeper details in videos discussing purchasing strategies and ways to make money in Earth2, but the long and short of it is advertisers are going to be paying to advertise in Earth2. Earth2 is basically going to be acting like the broker, setting up the deal. Earth2 will obviously be taking their share from that marketing revenue, but it is going to be shared with the owner or owners of the land that marketing is going to be targeted on. And that share that the users or players are going to be receiving, the landowners, is in relation to the land class. Again, the lower the number, Class 1 being the best, the lower the number, Class 1 being the best, the higher the percentage of that revenue you're going to be receiving. Sounds cool, right? Earth2 is doing the work and you're just receiving money from advertising. Now, there are a bunch of other ways to make money in Earth2, so you definitely want to check out my other videos that specifically discuss that. But this is just to discuss the relationship that classes have. And now remember, the class evolution is going to be based on that specific country. So if all of the Class 1 tiles are already bought up in the USA, that doesn't mean all of the Class 1 tiles are already bought up in the Bahamas. It's a different country. You'll also notice the prices are going to be independent per each country. That's based on how much land and the value for the land at that country. Just like the prices are going to differ between countries, the amount of land purchased is obviously going to be different depending upon which country you're looking at. So if there's no Class 1 available in the country that you're interested in and you really want some Class 1, your options are to potentially look at other countries or to look on the secondary market and purchase from someone privately. You like free money? You want to win some free land? Well, you're definitely going to want to check out my 2 giveaways that I have going on right now. The first one is the referral raffle. To enter that, you fill out the form below, and I'm going to use your promo code when I make my purchases. The next one is going to be my land giveaway. Each and every week, I buy land and I give it away to people who use my promo code. All you have to do is use my referral code when you're making your purchases, take a screenshot of the transaction, and send it to myearth2news@gmail.com. Each week I pick a random winner who receives all of the land that I'm able to purchase for that week. Every purchase you make with my referral code is another entry, so make sure you're using my referral code on your purchases, make sure you're getting screenshots, and make sure you're sending them to myearth2news@gmail.com. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to see you in the winner's circle. So now that we've got land classes figured out, let's start discussing tiers. Tier 2 land just came out in November of 2021. It happened to be on the anniversary of when Earth2 was launched. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it was planned. As land is purchased from Earth2, meaning new land, not land on the secondary market, but as new land is purchased on Earth2, the price of the remaining land in that country goes up. Eventually, some really popular countries become very expensive because so many people are interested in buying that land, just like popular stock. Unfortunately, it became so expensive that for new people to continue to invest and find interest in Earth2 and start off, it became a little bit too pricey for them and scared a lot of people off. So the Earth2 team introduced Tier 2 land, effectively restarting the price all the way back down to the original 10 cents per square. This revitalized the interest from the masses in Earth2 investments, purchasing, playing, whatever you want to call it. You may be one of the noobs who was probably deterred by the older prices, and now you've got a much more affordable rate at which you can buy into that country that you wanted in Earth2. Now, just like land classes, The tiers of land are also going to be indicative of the value that they hold in their ability to generate profit sharing, resources, and so on. And again, the higher value is going to be correlative with the lower number. Tier 1 land, which is no longer available for new purchase from Earth2, is still available on the secondary market, and that is the higher valued land right now. Is there going to be a tier 3? I would assume so, because it's a great way to reset the price and bring new interest to the game while still sustaining the value of the investments and purchases that people have made previously. Obviously, it wouldn't be fair for you to pay $60 a tile for land in the US, and then tomorrow all of a sudden I can buy it for 10 cents, right? So the trade-off is going to be, when I'm able to purchase that land for 10 cents tomorrow, it is going to be significantly less effective at generating profit, generating resources, generating jewels. It will still be able to do these things, but there's always going to be that incentive to pay more on the secondary market for that land that was purchased earlier. It's just like buying real estate. If you want the beachfront property, you got to be early. You could still buy the house that's a block from the beach, but it's never going to be worth as much square footage for square footage as that lot that's right there on the beach, right? Now, you can still buy that lot from this gentleman or a lady up front, but it will be on the secondary market. You're not going to be getting it from the developer. Now, I do want to do my speculative announcement, disclosure, whatever. I am just speculating that there's going to be a tier 3, but it makes sense. Now, when is it going to be? Will it be on the second anniversary in November of 2022? I don't know. Is it based on the anniversary, or is it based on the market demand? Are they doing this to pump up the influx of new money, or was it just something that they did and plan to do every November until all of the tiles are bought up? I don't know. But I do know that Tier 2 land is going to be better than Tier 3 land. So if you're looking to get in, I would get in while the getting's good, since we don't know when this is going to be. If you find a good deal on some Tier 3 land, go for it. Now, if you're watching this far in the future and all of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 is too expensive and you're forced to buy Tier 3, fret not. Because while the numbers aren't out specifically right now, and I can't figure out the specific details of where the price tolerances should be, there will be justification. There's always going to be justification for purchasing the cheaper land, because in theory, you could still get a relatively same bang for the buck, or potentially even better bang for the buck, if you know what the numbers are. However, the one common denominator is going to be the fact that the early bird is always going to get the worm. Meaning the sooner you purchase those properties, the better the potential for your ROI is going to be. As an example or an analogy, just to use some round numbers, let's say you could buy one of two businesses. One of them costs you $1 million, and after all the bills are paid, it generates you a profit of $10,000 a month, giving you an annual ROI on that initial investment of 12%. Or you can buy a smaller, less developed business that costs you $100,000 and it only generates a profit of $1,000 a month. While $1,000 a month doesn't seem as attractive as $10,000 a month, $100,000 is way more affordable than $1 million. And guess what? It's still 12% ROI. Now, maybe you don't have enough money to buy that $1 million business, but maybe you can buy 3 of those $100,000 businesses that are still making you 12% ROI. But again, the key is going to be buying that second business at $100,000, not when the market's driven it up to $200,000 at the same profit of $1,000 a month. Now we're only talking a 6% ROI annually, which is still good, but it's nowhere near as good as 12%. Now, if that confused you more than it clarified things, again, the early bird gets the worm. Buy Tier 2 or do your numbers and buy Tier 1 on the secondary market. And if you get Tier 3, make sure you're getting it as early as possible, or potentially look at Tier 2 on the secondary market. Fortunately, right now, at the time of this filming, Tier 2 is what's out there, and I would expect to have that for at least another 11 months. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found it informative and useful. For more information on this subject, as well as deep dives into anything Earth 2, tips, strategies, upcoming events, giveaways of both cash and land, you're going to want to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, Earth 2 News, and my newsletter, as well as checking out those links in the show notes below. Until my next episode, I look forward to helping you find your way around Earth 2.